Hi, welcome to Workaway TV. Today I'll be talking to Felix and Jan, our Workaways of the month, to find out what they learned about sustainable practices on their travels. Stay tuned to hear more.
Okay, so my name is Felix. I'm from Germany, and from trade I'm a dental technician. We lived for 7 years in China. I worked there for a company in Germany, and then actually we decided to travel a bit around the world and be part of Workaway and help in different projects. But then obviously COVID hit us all, and affected us all. So we came back to Thailand, where we spent that's half year on Jan's land, and then I found a job as a general manager for a graphic design company in Thailand, in the south of Thailand, in Phuket. So we moved to Phuket, and that's where we lived the last year.
Yeah, I'm Jan, and I'm from Thailand, originally from Chiang Mai, and I've been living in different places, Australia, the States, Sweden, and we lived 7 years in China, and after that we wanted to travel, and we found Workaway, and after that, it's like what he said, now we are in Phuket, and we plan to go on with the traveling soon.
You guys get this one a lot. You have been all over the world by the sounds of it. How and where did you meet? I've got to hear that story.
We met in Chiang Mai because I worked there from 2008 to 2010. And yeah, that's actually where we met through just through friends, and then
same friend circle.
Yeah, same friend circle, and then spend some time together, get along well, and then actually when pretty much, I don't know, even we didn't know each other for a long time, maybe just half a year. Then I left to Australia for work and travel, and Jan followed me. So, and that's where the journey began, actually.
So obviously you've both been traveling for a long time. You must have had lots of experiences. What led you to Workaway? What made you choose the site?
So actually in the beginning, initially, because we wanted to travel around the world, we were looking into different opportunities, and one of it was house sitting. But then at the same time, we looked for something like work exchange, because we want to level up our skills in terms of sustainability, because our long-term plan is actually to live a more sustainable life and get away from the big city, but obviously you need certain skills. So our idea was why we were traveling, to learn skills, and that's how we found actually Workaway on the internet.
And you both speak quite a few languages as well. What languages do you both speak?
So Felix speaks German, good English, a little bit Thai.
Some Chinese.
Some Chinese. I speak Thai, English. I used to speak Swedish. I understand a little bit German, and I speak Chinese. So yeah, I think it's because we lived in the different places, and of course most places speak English, but 7 years in China, so we speak Chinese as well.
So for me, it was actually, my Chinese is not as good as Jan's Chinese, because she worked with kids, so she could practice more in school, while I had a personal translator at work, because it was very technical, my work. It was important that I get clear instructions. So there was not a lot of room, let's say, to just experiment with the language, while if you work with kids, it's more more playful, I would say.
If you had workawayers who were looking to travel just to learn languages, what advice would you have for them? What sort of experiences should they be seeking out?
Personally, I think for me and Felix, traveling is about communication. So I think it's essential that when we want to express ourselves and talk to the locals and workawayer, we talk to the host, so we talk with other workawayers, and for us it's important to be clear when expressing ourselves, our experience or our opinion, or the tasks we have to do, to make sure we understand completely. And it's just nice to be able to talk to local people. So I think it's not very like, oh, if my English is not perfect, I cannot travel. Definitely can still do, but it's just more fun to be able to say everything you want.
I think to a certain degree, it's like just like be bold and jump into it. I mean, when I traveled after I finished my apprenticeship in Germany, my English was far away from the level where it is now, and it was just because I jumped into the ice cold water, let's call it like that. And when you live in Thailand or wherever you live in a new country, you really emerge into the like, or what is it, emerge into the culture, maybe like immerse yourself. So you learn fast because you have to. And people will never, like, I think it's, even if you just know a little fraction, people will appreciate that and give you a kind of a certain feedback. That's what kind of gives you the confidence to learn more, even though you start maybe with a very small repertoire of words. You build on that.
So what's been, and this might be different or the same, I'll be interested, what's been your favorite Workaway experience so far?
We have so many experiences that we love, and like if you have to pick one, that would be a host in Malambimbi, Australia.
So what happened was there was actually that we had a host in Australia, and he had a farm with like 20 sheep and like 10 goats and chickens. It was really what we were looking for, because at the end, as we said, we were looking for a sustainable lifestyle. So it was something where you could really completely live that lifestyle without having to invest into it, to see if that would be something which suits us. And it was just great. And we learned a lot. He gave us the whole introduction to his organic gardens and how to take care of the animals. So different aspects within this business, many different aspects to learn.
When you are looking at host profiles, how do you guys decide what ones look good? Like, have you got any kind of secret things you look for, things you avoid? Like,
for me, it's the review. It's the reviews, like after Workawayer left. Not sure what.
Well, I mean, it's partly the first thing, obviously, or sometimes what we are looking at is because we want to travel within this self-sustainability realm, that we are looking for what can we learn within this project partly. Like, is it about organic gardening? We always try to look for something in relation to permaculture, natural building, and sometimes too, like maybe a little bit business within that area. So people, they had a glamping site running there, and something where we could fit in with our skills, but something too where we could level up our skills. And reviews, but partly to a certain degree accommodation, because for Jan as a freelancer, it was important too that we have at least to a certain degree a little bit of a stable internet connection.
Your guys' end goal is to kind of set up a space where you can put all these techniques into practice yourselves and live sustainably and off-grid. What do you think people should be getting more excited about, sustainability-wise?
People definitely can be excited about the transition which is happening. And we were surprised that actually there's more and more, I would say, global awareness and people going into a phase of transition. And there's more and more, I would say, we have building more and more a collective consciousness around all these, what's going on and what kind of really matters. And even for younger generations, you can see that they make personally a shift in their own lives. So if you really reach out, you find like-minded people, and they're willing to share the knowledge with you, and that's what people can really be excited about, because we are standing at a turning point where if we act together, we can really make a difference, I would say.
It's really nice. I think it's so cool you guys have got this project set up as well, like kind of this end goal to your travels. It must be quite nice to have that as a shared goal as a couple. Do you find that traveling together as a couple, is that something that kind of like makes the relationship stronger, put strain on it, a bit of both? Like, have you got any advice for couples who haven't traveled together yet?
I think it could be it could make couple stronger or the other way. Depends, like, but I think it's essential as couple to try to travel together to see how you get along. For us, I think like when we did Workaway, there were many things that Felix want to do, and I thought, oh my god, this is not gonna work. Like we were always lucky with the host, and everything was nice. Like the experience was very good. And one thing I didn't want to do at first is hitchhiking from one city to another, because as a Thai person, we don't do this. Like our parents say, don't hitchhike, like it's dangerous, something can happen. But then for a European like him, it's nice and fun, and for me it's something totally new in the Workaway trip, and in the end it worked very well. So yeah, it gives me more confidence as a couple. I wouldn't do it alone, but as a couple, I think it's yeah.
Well, I think to one degree it's definitely trust. You know, can you like trust each other? But for couples who never travel together, I would definitely recommend start with a short trip and try things out. Because I mean, we've been together for like now 12 years, and we've done many things and they worked out well. And we lived in, let's say, even in a 14 square meter room for half a year and shared a single bed in Australia. But at the end, like we did, for example, a trip in the van in New Zealand, and that was really challenging for us.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, like really trying these things, and maybe don't just go straight. If you know each other for half a year, don't maybe just go when you come from a 9 to 5, both sides, and jump straight into hey, let's travel around. Yeah, world trip. That, you know, might be, you know, you get to know each other 24/7. Then you figure out if you can live together. Then it's like, you know,
yeah, make it too intense at the start, definitely.
yeah, definitely. Some people need their own space. For us, it was always okay, you know, like to be close, very close together, and that's something else I think is very individual. So play around with that and play around with that different kind of ways to travel to. Because it's easy if you're in a big house or whatever and you can get away from each other. But if you are really cramped into a small space, that's why a van is really. And everybody has a different style. Some people might be together as a couple, and one person is very tidy and the other person is a bit more messy. So even that can be a challenge, I would say.
Yeah, I think everybody's had a bit of a taste of that with the new living arrangements from COVID, really, haven't they?
Yeah.
So what was it like for you guys living in Phuket?
It's all right here. I mean, Thai people or like expats here are getting vaccinated, and yeah, if you are not vaccinated, you are not allowed to travel to the next province, and it's more issues to do things. But yeah, I think Phuket is the first point in Thailand where tourists will come. So they try to make it nice and under control here. And I think the whole year we live here, we don't have a feeling like pandemic, but like it's just more quiet than earlier, which is nice for us because no traffic jam and of course less people around. And I mean, well, we welcome tourists too, but like this past year was just cheaper and more quiet.
Yeah, I think definitely. Like this is one of the things. I mean, for us, Phuket was definitely not a bad choice because they have very low amount of cases, and it was cheap and quiet. The beach is quiet, and actually, Phuket was never on like would have been never one of our destinations because before COVID it was just too much just of a party, and we always try to avoid these places actually. But then I found a job here.
Yeah, we even like took a random long tail boat trip, just like in the afternoon, and we saw whale shark. So wow. Just a random snorkeling and just showed up. And I think usually when it's busy, so many boats around, it will not show up. But was just very lucky.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So
Yeah.
where are you guys off to next then? When all this is over, what's your next big trip? Have you got one planned already?
Yeah. Well, first after we are done here, we will go back to the north of Thailand and spend some time on Jan. She has some land in the north and practice a bit more permaculture and organic gardening. And we'll be trying to connect some people to work on some more projects to within that self-sustainability realm, let's say. And after that, we actually plan to go to Europe next year and then go to the south of Europe to travel and find a little bit like-minded people and see if we can find something either which is already established in terms of a community where you maybe can become part of, or start something ourselves. But our main aim in general is more long-term, to leave something behind for following generations. That's something where we would be really proud of, especially if it's a piece of land where we can really say, look, long-term, we transformed here something and left something of value, which is even when we are not here anymore, where our kids can say proudly, partly, well, look, they really try to turn this thing around and did something about, let's say, maybe reversing climate change.
That sounds amazing, and I'm sure you'll be spoilt for choice from our Europe posts. I've seen quite a few projects like that I'd love to get involved with, to be honest. So have you got any parting words of wisdom for our workawayers? One piece of advice, that they should take with them on the roads?
Words of wisdom.
Just do it.
Just do it. Right.
Just do it, yeah.
I would say, for me personally, what we figured out on the way is maybe find a theme for yourself. Find a theme, a lifestyle theme for yourself, where you are within that you are flexible. Like for us, sometimes we had destinations in mind, but we were not too much like this has to happen like that. Because a lot of times it didn't happen, and a lot of times you reach out. And sometimes maybe hosts are busy, or you don't get because we tend to kind of plan our life in ahead, and okay, now next step this, but it's not like that with Workaway or in general with traveling. It's more like you have to float.
Be the water.
Yeah, be the water, be like water and be flexible and live that theme, and kind of if something hit your way, you have to be like, okay, why don't we go around, be a bit creative, and then we go this way in that direction. And at the end, it doesn't matter for us. It doesn't matter if I do my gardening right now here with this family, or if I do it maybe with that family over there, or that's it. And don't have an expectation. The more an expectation you have about a certain place, I think the more you can be frustrated if it doesn't look exactly like that. So just keep your heart open and let it evolve and see, and it all can become very playful.
And then jump in it and be like the water. That's fantastic, guys. It's been so lovely speaking to you. I hope you have a lovely afternoon, and I will talk to you later. Thank you very much.